What makes an 8-month-old worse than a 7-month?
Because they're actually, the way it's written in the Gemara, I don't know whether it's to what extent it's scientifically correct, but there are two types of fetus, the 7-month fetus and the 9-month fetus. And the 8 months is a 9-month fetus which is premature and cannot survive. The 7-month fetus is complete with that, and the test is what the halacha gives, how you can tell if it has hair and nails. That's a sign that it's complete. And even if it's born in the 8 months, if it has hair and teeth, hair and nails, then you know that it's a 7 months, and you have to work with it. And that's how you can tell even today. I haven't checked into it to what extent they work with that, but that certainly is a sign. I've seen statistics that 7 months and 9 months babies have a higher rate of survival even with modern techniques than the 8 months babies. I don't know why.
Also, there's a question about what the Gemara calls a treifer, a person who is treifer. Let's say he has a hole in
Yes, what?
Treifer. He has a hole in the heart, for example.
Yeah.
At that time, this person couldn't live. I'm not a doctor, I don't know certain specific,
Right.
but today you can fix all that.
Yes.
A baby was born, I know a baby was born from somebody I called a nest in such a circumstance that it would sure die. Because, in other words, if you kill a person who's treifer, you're not chayiv, right?
Court does not execute him, but divine punishment is considered a murder.
Yeah, but today there is no such a thing anymore, or very seldom of a person who's treifer. Am I correct? Particularly with born.
That's right. So there's that brings us to another subject. First, I wanted to talk about contradictions. There is a Mishnah which says a mouse which is half earth and half mouse. What was the laws concerning impurity concerning such an animal? So the Rambam, when he brings it, says he's never seen such an animal, and it seems to him very unlikely that they could exist, but so many people have told him that they've seen it that he cannot definitely say that it's impossible. And when the Mishnah discusses it, it's a hypothetical question. If you would find such an animal, what would the law be? But it doesn't say that such an animal is going to exist. So therefore, this doesn't really contradict any law of nature.
Why is a cesarean birth not considered a bechor?
A what?
A baby born by cesarean is not considered the same.
Peter Rechem. Rechem is the birth canal of the female, and the one that comes first through the birth canal, he is considered a bechor. And if it's born by cesarean, it doesn't go through the birth canal, therefore it's not a Peter.
The Rechem is not the womb?
No.
Rechem is
Rechem, in modern Hebrew, Rechem is the uterus, the womb. But in classical Hebrew, the Rechem is the opening where the baby, the vagina. Yes.
What about if there are twins?
Huh?
Twins,
Yes.
female and male, and the
Right.
female comes first.
The female comes
But
first.
then you don't do pidyon acher?
There's no pigeon. Now,
You're lucky you didn't have boys. I don't understand why there's a prejudice about birth control.
It's because it says not to. It says specific in the Torah,
the question in the Talmud brings many ways of treating various diseases. There are quite a few passages like that in the Talmud, and the poskim, the halachic authorities, forbid using these techniques. The Gaonim write, you're allowed to use these techniques only if a qualified physician who knows tells you that it's not harmful. He says the people at that time were not very knowledgeable and they made mistakes, and therefore when the Talmud writes about medical treatments, you're not allowed to use it unless it's confirmed by a knowledgeable, by a high-level physician. That's another place where we find contradictions between the Talmud and scientific knowledge. Now, that's really the last topic I wanted to discuss, the question of treifa. There's a treifa, the Talmud lists 8 forms of physiological damage, which, if it occurs in an animal, the animal cannot live another year, therefore it's treifa. The Talmud lists the treifot, and then there is a discussion whether an animal that has such damage, whether it can live for a year. And the conclusion is, majority opinion, that it cannot live for another year, and therefore, not therefore, it just establishes the fact. Now, it seems, according to that only an animal that cannot live another year is treifa. What about if an animal has such damage and it does live for another year? It still lives a year. Does that mean it's not treifa? So the halachic decision is it is treifa, because the fact that these forms of damage make the animal treifa is halakha l'Moshe Sinai. That's a halachic tradition which is not written in Torah, but which is binding on us, and therefore, because this is part of Torah Shebal Peh, therefore it's binding on us, and whether the animal lives or does not live, and nowadays you can make it live, there's no impact on it. If it has any of these damages, it's considered treifa, and the Jew is not allowed to eat it. In human beings, there's also treifa. And there, the rule is different. There, you ask a physician whether this person could have lived another year if he hadn't been murdered, for instance. So there, we go according to scientific knowledge and don't go by the rules. The Rambam makes it very clear, makes this distinction. In animals, we don't care whether they live or not live. If they have these listed effects, it's very far, and you're not allowed to eat them. And the human being, we don't go according to the treifa. The human being, we ask a physician. Yes.
I was wondering, the Gemara speaks about tum and androgynous.
Yes.
What if today's time, if you change let's say a woman changes to a man, is this acceptable for a minion? Is this acceptable?
No.
Operation, they said
the way they were born, that determines the sex, and as far as the halachic practice is, you're not allowed to change the sex, and if you do, it's not binding.
Yeah, but there are people that have both organs.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So almost as you stay like that.
They have rules according how, in some respects they're male, in some respects they're female. There's a Shulchan Aruch.
Can they be counted a minion?
Minyan, I don't remember. I have to look at the list.
Can I be counted as a woman in a
In
hen
some
party?
respects they're counted as a woman, in some respects as a man. It's all fixed, extensive discussions on it in Halacha.
What about Brit Milah? For androgynous. Androgynous has to be circumcised?